28-year-old Maya Chen stood at the Family Feud podium with her hands gently gripping the edge for support, carrying the invisible burden of lupus that had transformed her life from a promising young artist pursuing her dreams into someone who measured time not in gallery openings and creative milestones, but in good days and bad days, flare-ups and remissions, and the constant uncertainty of a chronic autoimmune disease that could steal her energy and mobility without warning. Maya's presence on the show represented not just her personal struggle with illness, but the daily reality of millions of people who live with invisible disabilities while trying to pursue careers in creative industries that often lack understanding or accommodation for chronic health conditions. Beside her stood 52-year-old Linda Chen, whose presence represented both Maya's greatest source of practical support and her constant reminder of the dreams that illness had forced her to postpone, modify, or abandon entirely. Linda had watched her daughter evolve from a vibrant art student with unlimited potential into someone who had learned to create beauty and meaning, despite physical pain and systemic limitations that made traditional art career paths virtually impossible to navigate. When Steve Harvey asked the question that would touch the heart of Maya's artistic passion and her deepest source of both joy and frustration, the response came from a place of profound love for creativity mixed with the grief of dreams deferred. What makes you happiest in life? Painting and creating art, Maya said, her voice carrying both the joy she found in artistic expression and the weight of knowing that her illness made traditional art career paths nearly impossible. Even when my lupus symptoms are severe and I'm dealing with pain, fatigue, or cognitive fog, when I put brush to canvas, I feel completely free and connected to something larger than my illness. But the art world isn't designed for artists with chronic illnesses. Gallery owners worry about reliability, collectors question whether sick artists can maintain consistent output, and most opportunities require the kind of physical stamina and networking energy that my condition doesn't always allow. The Family Feud studio fell into the kind of thoughtful silence that comes when 300 people simultaneously recognize they are witnessing someone's honest assessment of how chronic illness affects not just daily life, but also the pursuit of creative dreams and professional aspirations. This wasn't just a game show answer, it was an artist's confession about the intersection of creativity and disability, spoken with the kind of wisdom that comes from years of learning to create meaning and beauty, despite circumstances that most people cannot imagine. Steve Harvey felt his heartache as he looked at Maya, understanding immediately that this young woman possessed the kind of artistic passion and talent that should be celebrated and supported, but that she was facing obstacles that had nothing to do with her creative abilities and everything to do with societal assumptions about what artists should look like and how they should be able to work. Let me take you back to how we got here. Maya Chen had been a promising art student at Arizona State University when she began experiencing the first symptoms of what would later be diagnosed as systemic lupus erythematosus, an autoimmune disease that causes the body's immune system to attack its own tissues and organs. The symptoms had started during Maya's junior year: unexplained fatigue, joint pain that made holding brushes difficult, and a characteristic butterfly-shaped rash across her cheeks that initially appeared during stressful periods. As Maya's senior year progressed, the symptoms intensified. She began experiencing lupus flares, periods when her immune system became hyperactive, causing widespread inflammation that left her bedridden with fever, severe joint pain, and cognitive symptoms that made concentration difficult. The diagnosis came during her final semester when she was preparing for her senior art exhibition. Dr. Jennifer Rodriguez explained, "Maya has systemic lupus erythematosus. This is a chronic autoimmune condition that will require lifelong management. Lupus affects each person differently. You might have weeks when you feel normal, followed by flares that leave you incapacitated." Maya had needed to withdraw from courses, was unable to complete her senior exhibition as planned, and watched classmates graduate while she learned to navigate medications, medical appointments, and unpredictable physical limitations. "I felt like I was watching my life happen to someone else," Maya would tell Linda during difficult adjustment months. "All my friends were moving to art cities, getting gallery jobs, starting graduate programs, and I was trying to figure out how to paint when my hands were too swollen to hold a brush." But Maya discovered unexpected creativity Within lupus constraints, during joint pain periods, she created large-scale abstract pieces requiring broad gestures rather than fine motor control. When fatigue limited studio time, she developed focused approaches, resulting in emotionally deeper work. Maya's subject matter evolved to reflect chronic illness experience through visual language, exploring resilience, transformation, and beauty emerging from difficult circumstances. Her paintings featured organic forms flowing across canvas, creating compositions suggesting both fragility and strength, using muted earth tones with vibrant color bursts. However, pursuing traditional art careers proved nearly impossible. Gallery internships required stamina Maya couldn't provide. Graduate programs needed consistent productivity. Her flares made impossible. Potential representatives backed away, learning about her chronic illness and reliability limitations. "They don't say they're discriminating based on my illness," Maya had told Linda after a disappointing gallery meeting. "They just ask questions about delivery guarantees, attending events, handling stress. When I'm honest about my limitations, they lose interest." The financial challenges were equally daunting. Medical expenses, medications, and emergency room visits created debt, making art supplies and studio space unaffordable. Maya also struggled with isolation that chronic illness created within the art community. But Maya developed remarkable resilience, creating smaller works in bed during severe flares and embracing digital art tools when traditional materials were difficult to manipulate. The online art community provided opportunities to share work and connect with other artists, navigating chronic illness, building a following who appreciated both her artistic vision and honest discussions about creativity and disability. The Family Feud opportunity had come through Linda's workplace wellness initiative. Maya had been nervous about participating due to unpredictable symptoms, but wanted people to understand that chronic illness doesn't eliminate creativity, just requires different approaches. The Family Feud studios were both exciting and challenging for Maya. The bright lights triggered some lupus sensitivity, and the long taping day required more energy than usual, but the enthusiasm of staff and audience was energizing. During the family introductions, Maya had presented herself with the combination of vulnerability and strength that characterized her approach to discussing her illness and artistic work. "I'm Maya Chen," she had said clearly. "I'm 28 years old, and I'm from Phoenix. I'm an artist who specializes in painting, and I've been living with lupus for about 6 years. My illness has changed how I approach my art, but it hasn't changed my passion for creating or my belief that art can help people process difficult experiences and find beauty even in challenging circumstances." The audience had responded with warm, supportive applause, and Steve had immediately been moved by Maya's combination of artistic passion and personal resilience. "Maya, that takes courage, both living with chronic illness and pursuing a career in the arts," Steve had said with genuine admiration. "Tell me more about how lupus has affected your artistic work." Maya had looked at Linda, who had nodded encouragingly, then back at Steve. "Lupus is unpredictable, which means some days I have energy and focus for detailed work, and other days I can barely hold a brush. But I've learned that limitations can actually push you toward innovation. When I can't do fine detail work, I create large abstract pieces. When I'm too tired for long studio sessions, I work on small, intimate drawings. The illness has taught me to work with my body rather than against it." Steve had been impressed by Maya's insight and adaptability, recognizing that she had developed the kind of problem-solving skills and creative flexibility that suggested both artistic talent and personal maturity. The game had progressed with Maya participating thoughtfully and demonstrating the observational skills and emotional intelligence that her artistic practice had developed. Her responses showed both creativity and deep empathy, and her interactions with the other contestants reflected the kind of genuine connection that people often develop when they've learned to find meaning and joy despite facing significant challenges. During the second round, when Steve asked for things that require patience, Maya had buzzed in with creating art with chronic illness, earning a spot on the board and appreciative nods from audience members who understood that the creative process becomes exponentially more complex when physical limitations and unpredictable symptoms are involved. But it was during the fourth round that the moment arrived that would potentially transform Maya's artistic journey and her ability to share her work with the broader community that she had been hoping to reach. Steve had announced the survey question with his usual energy, not knowing that he was about to ask something that would allow Maya to articulate the source of her deepest joy and her most profound frustration: what makes you happiest in life? The question hung in the studio air, and for a young artist who had learned to find transcendence and meaning through creative expression, despite living with a chronic illness that made traditional artistic career paths nearly impossible, the answer was both immediate and complex. Maya had stepped up to the microphone with the honesty that comes from years of learning to find joy and purpose in circumstances that most people would find overwhelming, but also with the sadness that comes from knowing that your greatest passion is something that the world may never fully understand or appreciate. Painting and creating art, Maya had said, her voice carrying clearly across the studio. Even when my lupus symptoms are severe and I'm dealing with pain, fatigue, or cognitive fog, when I put brush to canvas, I feel completely free and connected to something larger than my illness. But the art world isn't designed for artists with chronic illnesses. Gallery owners worry about reliability. Collectors question whether sick artists can maintain consistent output. And most opportunities require the kind of physical stamina and networking energy that my condition doesn't always allow. The studio had fallen into thoughtful silence. This wasn't just a game show answer. It was an artist's honest assessment of how chronic illness affects creative aspirations and professional opportunities, spoken with the kind of insight that comes from years of learning to create beauty and meaning despite circumstances that most people cannot imagine. Steve Harvey slowly set down his index cards, and something in Maya's tone, a combination of profound artistic passion, realistic understanding of systemic barriers, and unwavering commitment to creative expression, had told him that this was a moment requiring more than standard game show response. "Maya," Steve said gently, "it sounds like your art is more than just something you enjoy. It's something that helps you cope with and transcend your illness. What do you wish people understood about artists with chronic conditions?" What do you wish people understood about artists with chronic conditions? Maya looked at Linda, who was listening with the understanding that comes from witnessing someone's daily struggle to pursue their passion despite enormous obstacles, then back at Steve. "I wish they understood that chronic illness doesn't diminish artistic vision or capability. It just requires different approaches and more creative problem solving. Artists with disabilities and chronic conditions often bring perspectives and techniques to their work that wouldn't exist otherwise. But we need more flexibility and accommodation in how the art world thinks about productivity, networking, and career development." But what happened next was something that no one in the studio, not Maya, not Linda, not Steve himself, could have anticipated. From backstage emerged a figure whose presence immediately changed the energy of the entire studio. Keanu Reeves, the beloved actor whose personal experiences with loss, grief, and finding meaning through creative expression had made him a symbol of resilience and authentic humanity, walked onto the Family Feud stage with the quiet confidence of someone who understood exactly why he needed to be there and what he needed to say. "Excuse me," Keanu said, approaching Maya with a gentle but serious expression that conveyed both empathy and genuine interest. "Did I just hear an artist say that chronic illness affects her ability to share her work but doesn't diminish her creative vision?" Maya stared at Keanu Reeves, immediately recognizing him, but struggling to understand why an acclaimed actor was addressing her about her artistic work on national television. "Mr. Reeves," Maya said, her voice filled with surprise and respect. "Yes, sir. That's exactly what I said." "Maya," Keanu said, his voice carrying the thoughtfulness and authentic emotion that had made him beloved by audiences who appreciated his genuine approach to both his craft and his public presence. "I want you to know that what you just described resonates deeply with me. I've experienced loss and trauma in my life, and I've learned that creativity, whether it's acting, music, or visual art, can be one of the most powerful tools for processing difficult experiences and finding meaning despite pain." The audience was immediately captivated, understanding that they were witnessing something special. An acclaimed performer sharing personal experience with someone who was using creativity to navigate her own challenges. "But I also want you to know," Keanu continued, "that the barriers you're describing in the art world are real, but they're not insurmountable. There are people who understand that some of the most powerful and authentic art comes from artists who have lived through difficult experiences and learned to transform that pain into something beautiful and meaningful." Maya felt tears forming in her eyes as she listened to Keanu Reeves speak about creativity and resilience with the kind of understanding that she had been hoping to find from people in positions to support and promote artistic work. "I've been involved with several galleries and art spaces that are specifically committed to supporting artists whose work might not fit traditional models of how art careers are supposed to develop," Keanu said. "Artists with disabilities, artists dealing with mental health challenges, artists whose life circumstances make conventional paths impossible, but whose creative vision is extraordinary." What happened next was one of the most meaningful moments in Family Feud history. Keanu Reeves made an offer that addressed exactly what Maya had been hoping for, but had almost given up believing possible. "Maya," Keanu said, "I want to help you organize an exhibition of your work. Not charity, not sympathy. A legitimate gallery show that honors your artistic vision and helps people understand the beauty and strength that can emerge from navigating chronic illness while maintaining creative passion." Maya's face showed complete disbelief and overwhelming gratitude as she processed what Keanu Reeves was offering her. "Are you serious?" Maya asked. "You want to help me have a gallery exhibition?" "Maya," Keanu replied, "I'm completely serious. From what you've described, your work represents exactly the kind of authentic artistic expression that galleries should be eager to support. The fact that traditional gatekeepers have been hesitant doesn't reflect the value of your work. It reflects limitations in how they understand both art and the diverse experiences that can inform creative expression." Linda was crying openly, watching her daughter receive the recognition and opportunity that she had always believed Maya's talent deserved, but had wondered if Maya would ever receive. "But there's more," Keanu continued. "I'd also like to help connect you with other artists who are navigating similar challenges, and with collectors and art lovers who understand that some of the most powerful work comes from people who have learned to create beauty despite facing circumstances that most people can't imagine." Steve Harvey then did something that would become one of the most touching moments in Family Feud history. He removed his suit jacket, his lucky jacket that he wore to every taping, and approached Maya. "Maya," Steve said, his voice thick with emotion, "this jacket has been with me for every show I've hosted, but today it belongs with someone who just proved that true artistry comes not from perfect circumstances, but from the courage to create beauty, despite facing challenges that would stop most people." He placed the jacket around Maya's shoulders. "You wear this to remember that your illness isn't something that limits your art. It's something that has deepened your artistic vision and given you perspectives that can help other people understand resilience, hope, and the power of creativity to transform difficult experiences into something meaningful." Maya embraced Keanu Reeves with gratitude that went beyond words, then looked directly at Linda, who was beaming with pride and relief. "This is for everyone who's ever been told that their circumstances make their dreams impossible," Maya said. "And for my mom, who never stopped believing that my art mattered even when I couldn't see how it would ever reach the people who needed to see it." The studio erupted in applause that wasn't just appreciation for entertainment, but recognition of something profound about the intersection of creativity and resilience. The importance of supporting artists whose experiences don't fit traditional molds, and the power of authentic artistic expression to create connections across different life experiences. What happened after the cameras stopped rolling became a story of artistic breakthrough and community building for artists with chronic conditions. Keanu Reeves kept his promise, working with Maya to organize Invisible Strength, Art from the Margins, a gallery exhibition featuring Maya's paintings alongside work from other artists navigating chronic illness and disability. The exhibition was successful beyond expectations, attracting attention from critics and collectors who recognized the quality of work emerging from lived experience rather than academic theory. 6 months after her appearance, Maya had sold several paintings, received commissions, and been invited to group shows focusing on disability rights and chronic illness awareness. Keanu remained involved as both supporter and advocate, helping connect her with opportunities. 3 years later, Maya had become a recognized advocate for artists with disabilities, speaking at conferences and working with galleries to develop more inclusive policies. The episode sparked conversations about chronic illness, creativity and disability, and the importance of inclusive opportunities in creative industries. The lesson that Maya taught that day extends far beyond art or chronic illness. She reminded the world that authentic creativity often emerges from the most challenging circumstances, that limitations can become sources of innovation rather than barriers to achievement, and that supporting artists whose experiences don't fit traditional models enriches the entire cultural landscape. Steve Harvey learned that day that the most powerful moments in television happen when you celebrate not just talent, but the courage to pursue creative dreams despite facing obstacles that most people never have to consider. Keanu Reeves learned that using his platform to support emerging artists creates ripple effects that extend far beyond individual careers to influence entire systems and attitudes about who deserves opportunities and support. Because that's what resilience looks like when it's channeled into creativity, not the absence of struggle, but the transformation of difficult experiences into artistic work that helps other people understand beauty, strength, and hope. That's what inclusion sounds like when it's genuine, not just accommodation, but recognition that diversity of experience creates richer, more authentic artistic expression. And that's what happens when an artist's determination meets an advocate's platform and proves that the most powerful creative work often comes from people who have learned to find beauty and meaning despite circumstances that would overwhelm others, creating art that serves not just their own healing, but the healing of everyone who encounters their vision.